Put on your mental track shoes and run with me. This is the Powwow with Myra. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Today we have Yesenia Dominguez. Oh, wait. It used to be Dominguez. I forget your last name.
Rogel.
Rogel.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, I don't think I even knew your last name.
No, because I don't have it on social media.
Yeah.
It's just an R.
Okay, yeah, because I remember you did change the initial, but of course I remember you as Dominguez. Okay, Rogel.
Yes.
Okay, well, Mrs. Rogel.
Thank you.
So right before the pod, we were talking about. I'm actually kind of interested in that energy drink. You said it doesn't do much. Does it? Did it used to? What are you drinking?
This is Rain. Okay, and this one only has, I think 200. Yeah, 200 milligrams of caffeine. It's the same as a cup of coffee, but because I drink them daily, your body gets used to it. So you kind of get it's like drugs. You get used to them. You got to get more and more. But these are my drugs. So
yeah,
there'll be a time period where I stop drinking it for like a month or so. That way I can kind of get my body used to getting back to it. Yeah. So I've been drinking coffee the last couple of weeks. Plus this, it's like, all right, I can feel something, but it's used to be like, all right, let's go. But now it's not like that no more.
Okay, maybe I need to do that with my coffee. Take a little break.
Yeah.
Because now it's just I don't feel, as you're saying that, I don't feel like it does really anything, but it's just that nice taste in the morning. It's a habit, exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of habits, let's talk about where life has taken us. Specifically, I'm interested on how you got into the body. It's not building, right? What do you call it? It is bodybuilding. Okay. So, but we last saw each other in high school. High school buddies, including junior high buddies. So shout out to all our Carter Junior High, Sam Houston buddies.
Yeah.
So how has you were a teen mom, so we were last playing sports together.
Yeah. Tore my ACL.
You tore your ACL.
Yeah. In practice one day. I don't know if you remember. Can't remember her name. Still to this day, I forget. But it was practice. It was our practice. And we were in the second court, B court. And we were just all playing in there. And I go in for a layup because I guess she got mad because I crossed her over at the half court. I don't know.
Oh, so it was intentional.
It was intentional because she was behind me. And she shoved me while I was going in for that layup. And when I landed, I twisted my ankle. And what was the coach's name? Tall white guy. Forget his name.
Oh, he actually went to jail. Coach Peters?
That sounds right.
Coach Peters, tall guy.
Yeah, tall, skinny.
Tall, skinny with kind of like spiky hair.
Why'd he go to jail?
Oh, he ended up being a STEM teacher at Martin. And I think he had some sort of relationship with the student.
Ooh. Okay. Well, that guy, he told me to get up, and he was like, get up, Dominguez. I was like, Dominguez can't get up. Like, I couldn't. And then I found out I tore my ACL when I went back to basketball, when we did a summer camp with the lady coach. I forgot her name too. I found out I was pregnant, and I tried to keep it from everyone, but I was like, well, I can't now. So I kind of threw that out of the window. And then I had to make the decision to graduate early because I'm like, I'm pregnant. I'm gonna have a kid. I don't need to be going to high school still with a kid. So I think my junior year was kind of like combined. So it was like rush, and I don't remember much. I remember more of our 9th grade year and 10th grade year, but like with friends and stuff, I don't remember much interaction with everybody.
Really?
Yeah, because I was just so focused on going to school, going back home, feeding the baby, trying to do this, trying to do that. And a lot of like my gym time went away because I had credit for like classes I was taking in advance, but I had to take the other classes. So my electives got taken because I wanted to graduate early. So I was like, okay, did that. That was fun. Not really.
So what inspired, like, I mean, I'm sure, right? Like you're inspired, you're a mom, but like, not everybody takes the same path of, hey, let me do extra work while I have extra work at home
Yeah.
so that I can like plan, you're planning ahead, but at the same time you put on all this more what would you call it? More work on your plate. So what inspired you to do that at that time?
Think um when I found out I was pregnant, I broke the news to my mom. And for the longest, I had been telling my mom, can I graduate early? And she's like, for what? You don't just stay in school, enjoy school, enjoy school. But when she found out, she asked, she's like, when she told me, she was like, you need to graduate early.
Mm.
And at first, I didn't understand it. I was like, well, why do I got to graduate early? Like, me and my baby daddy, we're going to be having fun. Like, no, my son was 3 months old when I decided that it was not best for my child to be in a relationship with his father. So I think even with that going on, it just kind of like pushed me more to be like, all right, you got to do this on your own.
Mm.
Um, at the time, I didn't think I was going to do it on my own. I thought, hey, I have my family, I have his father to help out. Didn't work like that. Our relationship went very astray and it was just not the prettiest. And it was difficult at the beginning. But I guess what made me want to do more is I grew up a certain lifestyle and I didn't like it. Um, my mom had to do all the work, and seeing what my mom was able to provide on her own, I'm like, well, if my mom can do it with two little girls, I know I can do it with one little boy. So I just like kept trying to push and push and push. That way it could be better for him. I
Mm.
always had to share a room with my sister. That's why I never had friends over because why would I? I had to share a room with my sister. I didn't want my son to be sharing a room. I didn't want him to be, not having the things he wanted. So I left high school. I went straight to a dental assistant program. And while I was doing that, I was still going to TCC and I started my associates. Once I finished that, I got so involved in the dental stuff that I kind of just finished my associates. I was like, I'll hold off on school. Like, it's not for me right now. So I decided to get a job that would pay me more than working at a fast food place or something like that. And the only good thing about being pregnant at a young age is the government liked to help. So the schooling was a lot cheaper because I
Mm.
had, because I was a mom and I was a teen. So that was the only plus about being pregnant at a young age.
I would say the system worked in that instance because it's there to help, give a little extra push for those that things have not aligned, maybe how things were planned or how people want yet, right? So they offer this, but then it's also the other side has to want it too,
Yeah.
right? Which is you. You would have to say yes, I commit to this, and then finish it out and put the work in.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's a really good story there.
It is. If, like you said, if you want it. If you
If you
don't,
want
if
it.
you don't, it's just like, oh, whatever. Yeah, whatever. I can't do that.
So how old were you when you got pregnant?
I was 16, but I had them because I just at 17 because I had just turned 17.
You just turned 17.
And then I finished school that same year. So I left that school and went to a technical school for the dental assisting program.
Mm.
And that was like, I think like a 6 or 8 month program that I did. And in that time, I was working at Pep Boys and a gas station at the same time because they were both part time jobs, working with me in my schooling, uh, and then having my son in daycare and or my mom helping me or something. So that was, and then I started working when I turned 18 at the dental office.
Mm. Hmm. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So looking back now, what would you say? What were the missing pieces of like the relationship not working out? And the reason I bring that up is because I feel like even sometimes as adults, it's hard. Some people have a difficult time, um, find like looking, finding, knowing what to look for, or even understanding like values or how things work. What do you think? What were what were some of those missing pieces that just didn't make that relationship work out at the time? It could have been maturity too.
Well, I think a lot would have to do with maturity and more so of his part because he's even admitted, Yesenia, it took me this long to, figure stuff out. Cool. Took you your time. Cool. I realized it, I wouldn't say instantly, but what was a breaking point for me is it was just one day I was looking for something that I probably shouldn't have, but I'm glad I did. And when I did find it, I was just like, you know what? Woke the dude up. Hey, this is not gonna work. Because before I did that, I had a lot of thoughts. I can't be with someone I can't trust. I can't be with someone that I'm gonna be
Mm.
fighting every day. Why would I want to raise my son in a household with someone that he's going to see us arguing all the time? It's better to
Mm.
not be with this person. But in my head, like if he still wants to be around, he's going to be around. And if he chooses not to, that's his choice. I can't push it on him. One thing I've learned, like I can just say in general that I have since the day that that girl pushed me and tore my ACL, I'm not a spiteful person. I really am not. Have I done some spiteful things here and there? Yeah, but then I feel guilty about it because I'm like, dang, why did I do that? And one
Mm.
spiteful thing is like I couldn't go back to that girl and say it's your fault. I couldn't do that. And one thing I couldn't do to him was be like, you're not gonna get to keep him. You're not gonna get to see him. I gave him the opportunity. Did he take it? That was his choice. The hardest part doing it alone was the fact that when my son would be like, "Mommy, where's my daddy?" Ooh, um, he's out doing things. When he's ready to come around, he'll come around. I never not once said anything ugly about
Wow.
his father. I never tried to belittle him behind his back or anything. So that was one thing I told myself. I can't do that because that's me being spiteful.
Mm.
Me and my dad's relationship was very good when I was a little girl. But when I got older, he was gone. My mom had to do everything by herself. And one thing I realized was like my mom never did it.
Mm.
So when I would talk about my father in a way, my mom was like, I never taught you to be ugly to your father. I was like, Mom, you didn't have to teach me. I learned it. So my mother didn't have to tell me, hey, your dad's a piece of this. Or, she never did that.
Right.
So
What an
what,
example.
yeah. And that was something that I realized I didn't know that I did it to my own son. I'm like, hey, I didn't, talk crap about his father. I didn't do this. And I wondered, why did I do that? Because I'm not spiteful? No, because my mother did it to me. She didn't put that in my mind,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to put it in my son's. Now my son has communication with his father, and it's new. It's only been almost a year for him. And my son's about to be 15. So I let that relationship grow how it's going to grow.
Wow.
And my son is my child because the same thing. We were talking about one time, and I was like, hey, like, how are things with him? Like, everything going good? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, like, are you gonna start calling him dad, or no? I'm just gonna call him by his name. Okay. He goes, he's really just my father. I was like, well, yeah. I mean, he's your dad. He's like, no, mom. A dad should have been in my life. A father
Mm.
made me. I was like, whoa. And
Wow.
this kid was only 13.
Wow.
I was like, hey. In the back, I'm like,
Proud mama.
like in the back, I'm like, yes. But
Yes.
it's like I didn't teach him that. He
Right.
learned on his own. Like the same one my
Right.
mom told me, I didn't teach you to be ugly to your father. You didn't have to. I learned.
Right.
And that was something my son learned too. So he's not a bad kid. He's not a disrespectful kid, but he is
He's
an
smart.
honest kid. He's like,
Mhm.
Mom, like, I'm like, dang, that is the truth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's very impressive. And, uh, that's a big applaud to you because you have been that example. Just like, and for all of us, right? Like our parents are our examples and maybe the people we grow up with or any people that's close to us. So that his actions say more about you right now.
yeah, one thing that I kind of got upset and I had to like swallow my own pill was when this process was coming closer to the time where he was going to finally be introduced. Me and my husband were dating at the time, and I told him that I was upset. And it wasn't upset because he's coming into his life. I'm upset because my son is my trophy. To me, I see a child as a trophy. I have worked so hard, so long. every time anybody talked about him, oh, Eli's a good kid. He's respectful. He's smart. And it's just the compliments that you get from other people, seeing someone for the first time or continuously seeing him. It's like, oh, he's a good kid. I'm like, that's my trophy. Like, dude, I got that. Like that, I did that. Like, and even if, you know,
You cultivated that.
yeah, like that's mine. So I was like, he's coming in and he's swooping into my trophy because now he's gonna be in his life. And it's like, yeah, this is my son. Like, oh yeah, he plays sports. He does this. Oh, cool. Yeah, coming in taking my trophy, bro. Like you just swooped right underneath. But I'm like, you know what? That's his father. I gotta relax. I gotta give him a chance because I had 13 years of my son's life. He's just now starting. So I'm like, I gotta give him something. All right, let me breathe. All right. And it took me a while to like, but I never wanted to take it out and be like, you're this, you're that. Like, there's no point.
Right.
And there's no point of doing that. And I think that's a problem that is very common when relationships don't work out and there's a child involved. I strongly feel like if you and your partner are always fighting and you're not trying to make things work, how do you want your child to see you guys arguing every day? That child's going to be brought up as thinking, hey, it's okay to talk to a girl like that. Oh man, hey, it's okay when a guy talks to me like that. So
Mhm.
I don't think when it's an unhealthy relationship, it's not just because of the parents, it's going to affect the child. So when that's there, it's like you guys have to make that decision.
Beautifully said.
It's really common and natural for two people not to be together. It's not like ideal, like you want mommy and daddy to be together, you want to be married, you want to do this, but our culture has changed drastically. This society has changed drastically. It's okay to be separate but still work together.
Right. Because at some point, you have to realize what is best for everybody involved for the future.
Yeah.
You know, like what are you sacrificing now for the future versus sacrificing the future for the now, which it's not even worth it.
No.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's no happiness there. And it gets to the point, like you said, it just gets counterproductive because at the end of the day, it's like sometimes parents want to stick together because they think that's the best for the child, right? So it's a very uh, innocent way to put it, right? I'm like, okay, I'm going to sacrifice my happiness for the child, but then looking at the bigger picture, I mean, we know now, maybe maybe years ago it was maybe not so easy to see that because internet was not a thing, you know. This people just knew what they knew. So it's more of a, I would say more like a old school mindset of
Yeah.
staying together. But now, you know, I think enough cases, enough stories have gone by. So where we understand now, okay, maybe sticking together is not the best thing in the long term for everybody, really, especially the kid.
Yeah.
And so, you know, speaking on like your current even situation with now, you know, your son having a relationship with his dad, you know, I can't imagine how hard that was. It's like, yeah, man, like this is my kid. I did all the heavy work for you to just come in and say, "Oh yeah, let's go play some ball."
Yeah.
And, you know, whatever. So I can't even imagine, you know, what that must feel like, but I got to say it's very big of you and it speaks so much of your character and your person and your values of like saying like, okay, okay, this is what I'm feeling. I got to suck it up because, you know, I'm sure in your mind, I can already tell by the way you're speaking, you're thinking of, okay, what's best for my child?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not up to me to take these things away from him.
Yeah, and it kind of sucked because, like I said, him growing up, like, where's my dad?
Right.
But one thing I did do, kind of to like, it wasn't maybe a little gloat, like, huh? But I did ask his father. I was like, so, it was like after he met him and he was, you know, getting to know him and stuff, and we had to talk about some stuff coming up. And at the end, we finished talking. I said, hey, let me ask you a question. He was like, yeah. I said, how did I do? He's like, well, what are you talking about? I said, with Eli. He said, man, Yesenia, that kid is great. He's like, man, I don't even know how to, like, I don't know. He's like, he's really good. You did an awesome job. And I'm like, in my head, I was like, but
Right.
it was really like, I did it more for him to see. Like,
Yes, for to think about it.
to think about it like, hey, he's a good kid.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. He's a good kid. don't mess that up.
Mm. Mm.
I don't need him to try to sway him to do something different, be something different. He is who he is now. He's already a grown little man. You can't change it. Like he has his personality. He is who he is. So I kind of just like kind of went over that with him just to kind of make him see like that's who he is.
Right.
Like don't change that. So because I didn't know how the relationship was gonna go, and so it's had its little ups and downs, but for the most part, I mean, he likes going over there because he has siblings.
Mm.
He has no siblings with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a sibling he didn't know about until he was 12.
Mm.
And when he found that out, it broke his heart. But his father's remarried, so she has her children. He has his daughter, and now they just had another baby. So my son is a family kid. He really is. He loves being a caretaker. He really does. He's always been like a little leader. He loves my sister's kids. He loves playing with them. He loves watching them. He gets annoyed by kids sometimes, but for the most part, he loves being a brother. I think that's what it is. And I'm like, dang, I could never give him that, but it'll be okay. Yeah, right.
There's plenty of humans for him to. It sounds like he's a little protector too.
He is. He's a protector. He's like everything. I feel like, but I feel like now because I'm extra, and he's like, okay, mom. He's getting to that stage where it's like, all right, mom, like, don't get out the car. I'm like, why? Look at how you're dressed. And I'm in pajamas and my hair is like to the side and I ain't got no shoes on because like I'll drop them off at school and I'm like, I don't really care. Like I'm already married. Like who do I need to impress? Like, it's like, mom, don't do that. You're embarrassing. I'm like, well, not. I'm just.
It's like you're looking at yourself in the mirror.
I'm like, I rolled down. He's like, don't roll down the window because like I'll usually roll down. Bye. He was going to high school for the first time. He's like, mom, please. I'm telling you right now. Please, mom. Please don't roll down the window. I swear, mom. If you do it, I swear, man. I'm just gonna, mom. I'm like, chill out. And as he's getting out the car, I put my finger on the window. And he's like, mom, I swear. I'm like, what you gonna do? You gonna do nothing. And I was like, you know what? I'll give this kid some leniency. I stopped being as aggressive as I was with my extraness with him because it distanced him from me. So he's like, I don't want to be around you. Like, why don't you want me to take you shopping? Mom, because you don't let me pick out my stuff. And I'm like, oh, dang, but this one looks cuter. No, I don't like it, Mom. I'm like, oh, okay. So I had to tone my extraness down with him.
When did you start noticing that?
Probably when he was like 13.
13. Yeah, makes sense.
And the only reason why is he was like 12, 13. Someone that opened my eyes to it was my sister used to tell me all the time. Everybody used to like, okay, you're being too much with him. I was, okay, so it wasn't until my husband. I was dating him at the time. He was like, he's a growing boy. You need to give him a space. Like every time I would want to do something, like I finally have a man with me. Like let's do family things. And my husband's like, no, he doesn't want to do it. Don't make him do it. You're making him do things because you want this, you want that. He's gonna regret this later. Like he's not gonna want to be around you. I'm like, okay, like let me die down a little bit. So it was my husband who opened my eyes to like, he's a growing boy. He's becoming a man. You can't baby him anymore. You can't like do that little kitty stuff that you like doing. And I'm like, why?
You're like, he's my baby.
Why? I mean, like, I can't even ask for it. Like, I used to just go up to him and like give him a kiss. He's like, and like now he'll ask me for something, and I'm like, you want something, huh? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I do too.
I do too.
Yeah. So I know when I want it, like when I want something that I know it's like, oh, my little boy, I know when to ask instead of doing it all the time and annoying him. So I'm like, all right, cool.
You're figuring out different ways, that are not as, that you're not pushing him away as much. Yeah.
Because he's at that stage where it's like, he's about to be 15.
Yeah.
I'm like,
any girlfriends yet? He's very cute.
Man, so he had a little girl and I was upset. I got in my feelings. So he had this little girl and he had messages from girls like all the time. And I would question him. I'm like, who is this? It's a friend from school. Okay. You didn't meet nobody online, nothing. No, no. Okay. Everyone's from school. Okay. And I'll give him his privacy because he would always ask for it. I'm like, if you give me a reason not to give you your privacy, I was like, do realize I'm gonna look every once in a while. I'm not gonna look all the time and whatever. But if I see something that I might have to question, then you lose that privilege. So he hasn't given me any reason to do that. But there was one instance where he was with his father that weekend, and then he comes home and he's like, I found out like a difficult way. I was like, it's not the way I wanted to find out. But he was like, Mom, because I asked him about the girl. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna take her to homecoming. I think that's what it was called, homecoming. Prom is the last one, homecoming. Okay. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. I was like, well, how'd you ask her? He was like, I made her like a little poster thing, and like I brought her flowers and stuff. Why didn't you let me do that with? When did you go get that stuff? He was like, with Eric. Why didn't you let me do it? Like, what? This is what I'm talking about, where I'm extra. He was like, Mom, it's because if I asked you to do it, you would be too extra. And like, I didn't want that. Like, I just wanted to go get the stuff. And I'm like, did you record it? Like, he's like, yeah, somebody recorded it. He goes, I'll show you, but I'm not going to send it to you. I'm like, he's like, because you're going to post it on Instagram. I'm like, I promise I won't. No, you're going to show somebody. I want to show who I want to show. I'm like,
Ooh.
why? Like, let me do it. Let me do it. No, Mom. Didn't even let me hold the phone. He was like, here.
Yeah.
And it was so cute. Somebody was sitting in the bleachers, and she's a little cheerleader.
Oh.
And I was like, oh. And he's walking in with a little poster board and flowers, and it says, will you go to homecoming with me? And he gives her a hug. I was like, and then like,
Wow.
I saw some pictures of her. I was like, she's a cute little girl. Unfortunately, he doesn't go to that school anymore, so he couldn't take her. So I was like, okay, sad for you, but okay, too bad. Let's learn. So he didn't get to take her.
Oh, I'm impressed he thought about like even recording it.
Because I'm his mother.
Yeah.
I'm extra. I've taught him how to take all my good photos. A lot of my pictures on Instagram, when we would go on trips and stuff, my son used to take them. Now my husband does. And even when I have pictures with my husband and we're on family events or something, my son's taking the photos. He knows what I like, what position. Mom, you look fat. Turn around. Like, put your leg out. Like, turn your head. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Like, my son calls me out on it. And so,
Logan, you found yourself a little assistant for your photography stuff.
He likes taking pictures. And I guess how I am with him and how I do my life in general, I'll record every moment. I take pictures of everything and be that extra. And little does he realize that he's like that too. Not as intense as I am, but he'll
in his own way.
Yeah, he'll do his little videos with like himself or whatever, like playing with the boys or whatever he's doing, he does it too. It's not as intense as me. I literally could like be about to eat the food. Babe, don't touch that food. I need to take the picture first. Hold on. Like, we take the picture of the food, and he's like, are you done? Like, yeah, I'm done now. I'm done now. Okay.
Yeah. A boy acting like a boy.
Yeah. But recently he doesn't have any little girl that he has told me about.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I'm like, are you talking to anybody? No. And I asked him the big question. I'm like, puppy, you haven't done anything, right? Mom, don't talk to me. I'm just letting you know. I just don't want to be a grandma. I just want to know. I want you to be smart. I said, because he's like, well, you got pregnant at a young age. Exactly. And if I could have not, I would have not. But I did, and I don't regret it. But I missed out on a lot of my young years because I had to do this, this, and this. I don't want you to miss out on it.
Right.
And he's like, okay. So I made him a deal.
Oh, what's that?
If you wait till you're 18 to even think about having any babies, I'll give you $5,000.
Oh.
If you wait till you're 21, anything after, I'll give you 10. He's like, deal. I'm like, okay, good. At least I got
incentives do work.
So I hope it just like, nah, I need the money.
So maybe they will work. Yeah, we'll see. That's funny. Do you normally do that with him? Like make deals?
Oh, everything is a deal now.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
You're building a little entrepreneur.
Oh no, yeah. It's been like that since he's a kid. It's it was more of finish your vegetables and you can do this. So it starts young. You don't realize you do it. But as he got older, it was like, okay. And
he was used to that now.
Yeah, he was used to it. And I think where it started changing is when he got a little bit older, like maybe 10 or 11. And it's like, no, Mom, I don't want to take the picture. Just take one picture and I'll buy you that candy bar. Okay, cool. And so now it's progressed to like... Mom, oh, I wanted to go to, we did plan this trip to Daytona. And he's like, I don't want to go with you guys. I'm like, why? Because mom, you're extra. And I'm not going to have fun and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, son, we haven't taken a family trip in a while. Please, just this one trip, have a good mood. Okay, if I do that, then can I get this or what? And I'm like, but you have to promise me at least get 2 good pictures as a family. He's like, but if I do that, then I can do this. I'm like, no, you can't do this one. You can do this one. Well, what if no. We'll like compromise with each other. I'm like, fine.
Wow.
And he really makes me shake his hand. Like deal? Yes.
Oh.
No, mom. Deal. And he'll grab my hand. He's like, it's a deal. I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. So he's horrible at it. Anything. Like,
oh yeah, he's an entrepreneur already, negotiating.
like, hey, we'll go out to eat. Okay, can we go here? No, I don't want to eat that. I'll buy. I'll pay for the food. Fine. Okay, we get what you want because you're paying, of course. So
that's funny. But it sounds like it works. It's progressed up till almost 15 now.
yeah.
So you better be saving because it looks like inflation is here and rates keep going up.
He used to. He doesn't have as many anymore, but he has a lawn service business, and he has two neighbors that are the steady ones that he does every week or every 2 weeks. But he had a couple customers, and he saved his own money. And
wow!
Ever since he started doing that, and this was probably when he was like 13. It was, Mom, I'm gonna go to the store for what? I'm gonna buy this, and this. Well, whose money? I got my own money. Oh, okay. So now it's, Mom, I'm gonna go do this. I look at him. He's like, I'm gonna pay for it. Or his what is that thing called? PlayStation, the PSP, something plus some game thing that you have to buy.
Mm-hmm.
He'll tell me, Mom, it's $24.99. I'm gonna give you $27 because of taxes and all that, and maybe you'll get a couple cents. But here's $27. I'm like, he pays for his own things.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very impressive.
And I think when he was younger, when we would go out to eat and stuff, I would try to teach him how to tip. So I'm like, basic tipping is 20%. Eli, how you do that is, let's say your bill's $100. You take the 10, you multiply that times 2, $20. If your tips total's $40, take the 4 and the 2, $8, like something like that. And he's like, Mom, but what if they did really good and I want to give them more? I was like, then you give them more, but that's the base. Like, that's what you start off with. He's like, okay. And I think ever since he's little, he's always been like more of,
wow,
yeah, giving and stuff. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean that is so impressive and good for you. You know, I'm taking notes as you're speaking. I have a much younger daughter.
Girl, that's even worse.
Why do you think so?
Because I forgot who said it, but it was a man. I want to say it was Steve Harvey or some famous person that says, I spoil my daughter on purpose. I spoil her. I give her what she wants. I do this. I do that. So she has these standards. So when she meets a man, that man has to meet those standards and above to be able to give my daughter, his wife, what she needs and wants. I'm like, that makes sense. It makes sense for the dad to spoil the daughter for that reason, because he doesn't want her to feel that,
lower her standards, that she's worth less.
Yeah.
Or whatever that means. Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta have him spoil her more.
You taking notes? Because I am. And you're teaching your son to be worth that man to be able to be the best version of himself and be able to get, find and get, or more so find his happiness.
Yeah. His big thing is he's caring. I'll be sleeping in the living room and I fall asleep there and I wake up in the middle of the night with the blanket. I'm like, oh, my son. My husband the other day fell asleep in the living room. My son saw that. He put a blanket on him. And I'm like, you know where that blanket came from? He goes, I took it from the room. I was like, no, ours is bigger. This is Eli's. Well, how'd it get here? Eli put it on you. Oh.
Oh, that is so
he's
sweet.
caring in his own way.
Definitely. You can tell a lot of his character just by the few even like details you've given about like his actions and his heart. That is so sweet. So good for you, Mama. You've done so well. And I really am taking notes, by the way. Plus, it'll be on repeat so I can go back if I need to re-listen to anything. But, go like your life after high school, you're jumping real quick into the, hey, I need to do something better than, just the easy job that I can get out, just so that I can make more money, right? And so you've always been, or get more money to build a better life, right? So you've been, because I have it on my own now. You're like, this is all on me.
Yeah.
I have no help. So where did that take you, that life after high school, up until you decided um to get deep into like working out and being healthy and wellness?
The bodybuilding stuff started in 2018. So right after high school, went
It's
to that, school, got a job, worked there, and it wasn't enough. Like it was something where I got out of my mom's place. I was able to get a little apartment and start working up to that. But I was always just like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. I want to be better. And after I started working at the dental office, it wasn't until I was like 21, 22. I was like, man, I'm going to get a little side job, just something on the weekends or something, because my job was only Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, some Saturdays. So I was like, let me find something real quick. And I started waitressing at a nightclub on the weekends. Told myself I was going to be there 3 months. That didn't work out. It was a long time. I worked there a long time. So for the longest, I worked at the dental office and the nightclub. And it worked out because I worked at the nightclub Saturday, Sunday. I'm off from my job Monday. So Tuesday, Wednesday,
mm,
Thursday. And it helped. I did that for 10 years.
wow.
So when COVID happened, uh, luckily I bought my home before COVID. I bought it in 2018 and I was like, this is it. And I think what kind of helped me push to kind of get that going too is that's when I started finding bodybuilding. Um, Young, I was always into sports, doing here, there, whatever it was I was doing. And once I had my son, kind of gained some weight, kind of fluctuated with that. And it was like I would go to the gym and I would see these beautiful women. I'm like, dang, man, she has a flat stomach. Man, her legs are nice. I would see these women or just even on, on their internet. And I was like, man, why am I making excuses? I want to try this. I want to start getting into it really seriously. So I started getting into it and started regrouping my friends and I started meeting more people in that gym life. And my first coach, it was his first time prepping someone for a show. I was like, you know what? I'll be your guinea pig. Let's try this.
So it was his first time like coaching someone?
Mhm.
Okay.
And it was my first time ever doing a show because I was like, you know what? I want to take this serious. Um, I knew very little about bodybuilding. My husband knows 10 times more than me, and he'll tell me all the time, like, you don't know nothing about bodybuilding. I was like, I know what I know. I was like, and this is what I do know. So bodybuilding is very difficult, and it is a sport. And that being said, not many people do it or can do it. It's very, very difficult. And when I say that, it's just because it's yourself. You're competing with yourself. You don't
Mm.
have someone to throw you a ball, go past the goalie, nothing like that. You're competing with yourself. And one of the major reasons why a lot of people can't do it is because it takes a lot from your mind, a discipline. It's a different form of discipline that I felt like I'm disciplined in a lot of things. I gave up, being a young little girl to being a mom because that decision was mine. I gave up doing this or that. It was what it is. And that was my discipline because I was like, I got to do this for this. But bodybuilding was a whole type of different discipline, going from diet to waking up at times I didn't want to sacrificing, what I had to do what I needed to. And that change was just drastic from what I looked like when I started working out, just, being into the fitness world compared to what I look like after the preparation of 3.5 months. And it was very mind blowing. Like I didn't even believe myself. I was like, but now when I look at my pictures from my first show compared to now, I'm like, yeah, I didn't even look that good. But then I was because what I did look like to what I went, I was like, man, that's amazing. And I did that. And when I started doing bodybuilding, that's when I was like, nah, things have to change in my life. So that's when I was like, I got my house at that time. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And it's a very selfish sport. I'll tell you that much too. You can't, it takes away everything. It takes away time from your family. It takes away time from your kids, friends, your work, it takes away a lot. So you have to be able to be dedicated to it and take a lot of self-discipline. And the only positive out of it is my son is old enough where I'm like, okay, like I would take him to the gym with me and he spend most of his time at the gym because that's where I needed to be. And he was okay with it because he's little. Like he was like, I think, wait, what, 5 years ago? So he was like 8 or 9. So he'd just like be playing his games, whatever. And I kind of felt bad now that I think about it. I'm like, dang, he spent a lot of time in the gym not having to be there, but he was there. And once I started doing it the first time, I was addicted to it because it was like, I accomplished that. Like the diet, the workout, the waking up, this, that. Like I was doing cardio for like 2.5 hours a day. Like in the
Mm.
morning and after my workouts, I would be at the gym for 2 hours. I was sweating. It was just a lot. And when I started that fitness journey, I kind of got addicted to it. So I did it another time and I got ready for that show. And unfortunately, 3 weeks before my show, a big, major, life changing thing happened to me where it was just like, I can't do it. Uh, that's something I don't want to really talk about, but it was a drastic moment in my life where it opened up my eyes that I could have lost everything. I literally could have lost everything, my home, my family, everything, my money, everything, but I didn't. And I had my family to be there to help me when I needed them the most. And my son was there to be supportive, to be like, mommy, hey, I love you. I'm okay. So that happened and kind of went through like something mentally because I had been prepping for the show for 3 months. And then 3 weeks before my show, I just gained a lot of weight and it just made me depressed. And then COVID happened. So I was like, I lost my job because of COVID, both of them, the dental office and the nightclub. I lost both of them. COVID happened. I'm like, so I'm in my own mind
Mm.
at home, gaining weight, still depressed of what happened and what I'm going through now, COVID. So now I'm even more isolated. So I'm like, all right, I need to change. I converted my shed into a gym and I started working out and people saw that. And they're like, do you offer training? I'm like, yeah, sure. And I started training from my home and that was my income. I was like, you know what? All right, cool. I don't know if you remember Matthew Holloway.
Yes.
He was one of my clients.
Stop. Well, he
Yeah.
transformed himself.
Yeah, he when he first came,
Actually, I've thought about reaching out to have him on the pod too
yeah,
because of that reason.
I was
Okay.
there was a couple people, it was just, social media, whatever. But Matthew, he was like, hey, can you train? Because no gyms were open. So that was my ticket. Everyone's like, she got gym equipment. She has gym equipment. So Matthew, he knows how to train himself, this and that, but it was more of the discipline. And I
Mm.
kind of did a slight prep with him. And our before and after pictures, he dedicated himself. He followed that diet. And it's a thing that I say is you're black and blessed. Like, bro, you you got muscles like naturally. I seen a 6-year-old one time and I was like, does he work out? He's like, no. I was like, dude. Like, and
Six
abs.
pack.
Yes,
Yeah.
abs. I was like, so it's just like, and that was one of my clients where I had a big transformation. And another client, her name was Chris. I met her through social media. Never knew who she was. She was just following me on social media, and she's one of my transformation clients too. And I still talk to her to this day. And I absolutely love her. And I'm like, you know what? I'm motivating these people. All right, you know what? I'm gonna start doing a show again. So I started, I reached out to a new coach, and this coach was in Virginia, and I just started doing. I don't need a coach to like guide me of like pushing me to lift weights. I just needed the accountability. That's what it is. I could probably diet myself, but it's more of accountability of having someone to be like, oh, I got to do this because this person said it. I got to show it. Like it was, you had
Yeah.
to drop a certain amount of weight. You had to eat certain amounts of foods, like cooking. It was just stressed so much. And my sister helped me my first time cooking my food and stuff because that takes a lot of time because I don't want to be cooking everything every day.
Mm.
I had to cook for 3 to 4 days worth, stack them up, eat exactly the same thing over and over for 3 months. And my carbs were taken away the first month. That was the difficult part. My second show was a bigger change. And I liked it. I was like, okay, I like this coach. And this was in 2021 that I was like, all right, I'll start another show. And this is when I met my husband. So I was like, when I met him, he was a power lifter.
Mm.
Um, and he's always been into fitness, been into lifting heavy. He's 6 foot tall, thick man. Like, okay. But yeah, he's so when I met him, he knew about bodybuilding, and he was like, yeah, I follow this person, I like this and this, and I saw like he really liked it. So I'm like thinking to myself, well, why haven't you never done it?
Mm.
Like, why haven't you done it? Like, and this was things I thought to myself. So I was like, you know what? I reached out to my coach again. I was like, hey, me and this guy, we're gonna do a prep together. Can give me the price for both of us? I did this and that. And when I told my boyfriend at the time, I was like, yeah, we're gonna do it together. He was like, okay. I am so happy we did it together and that I had already experienced what it is to be in a prep, because the first one is the hardest.
Mm.
And when I tell you that I know this was my person, that I was supposed to be with this person, is because we did that together. We were getting tanned one time the day of the show, and the lady was like, yeah, I mean, my husband were prepping together, this and that. I was like, oh, really? Like, I was like, how's it going for you? I was like, because I'm doing it with my boyfriend. She was like, I'm about to murder him. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to divorce him. I was like, really? She was like, yeah, we've been married for 10 years and I'm about to leave him. I was like,
Oh, was she being serious?
yeah, she was like being
Oh,
serious.
this
Like,
is not sarcasm?
no, well,
Maybe.
maybe it was. I don't know, but the way she made, I know it was because of that. She said, if you can survive this prep with your boyfriend, she was like, you can survive anything. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. I don't know if she was really being serious, like she really wanted to
Yeah.
leave him, or she was that angry with him. Where she was
Right.
just like, this guy. Like,
Yeah.
so I was just like, okay, like, cool. And ever since that lady told me that, I was like, this is my person. Like, yeah. Because if it wasn't for me, who's going to cook your food? Because that's the hardest part, like the food, being able to eat it and make it. Like, so I was in charge of prepping everything. So I'm like,
Mhm.
here we go. And he literally would just grab the box, put it in the microwave, eat it, go to sleep. And he had the easy job. I'm like, I had the hard job. And his first show, he did actually very well for his first time. So I was like, okay, you're built for this. You can have greatness in this. I like doing it because of the discipline and the reward I get because of what I put myself through. My husband, he wants to become a professional in it. That's you, not me.
Right.
We'll work on you. So I think this is going to be the last time. I'm probably going to start one here shortly, probably in like the next month or so, to start to get ready for another one. And I believe it's going to probably be my last. So we'll see how that goes.
So would you say it's more like a hobby for you? Just you like what it makes out of you?
Yeah, it is a hobby. I do like it. I do make my day around working out. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to work out because I like it. And if I do want to do another show, I can't backtrack. I can't like not continue to grow where I need to. So my hobbies are the gym, and the gym includes bodybuilding. And even though I haven't competed this last year, I still have that mindset of I need to get better, because if I do compete, and even if I choose not to compete after this year, I still probably will have that mindset as like,
Stay ready.
yeah, stay ready, like stay ready. I'm trying to look like Jennifer Lopez when I'm 50. Like that's
Yes.
just,
Yes. You're heading that way.
yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah.
Trying to be a little thicker than her, but still.
hmm Yeah, that is so impressive. So, okay, so you buy your house. Congratulations. That's also very impressive especially as a single mother. Um and you decide, okay, I'm going to go to the gym, and then you're inspired to go a little bit further, or like you said, be a little bit extra.
Mhm.
And so so for someone that wants to do bodybuilding, like who do you go to? Like how did you find your first coach? How did you find your first coach?
So,
And what did you look for?
man, I think I just got lucky because it was just, I wasn't really looking for it. It was kind of like I found a coach, and the coach that I had was a friend that I went to high school with, or not high school, but it's like a friend. I met their friend, and I ended up knowing the friend too, and it was his younger brother. So he was actually younger than me.
Okay.
And it was just like I started like doing it as just coaching, just training. And then I was like, you know what? I've never trained like for bodybuilding. And because I was so involved in the gym, I started noticing like, okay, these big guys, they're not just like working out, they're doing it for something. And bodybuilding to me was like I didn't even know it existed before 2018. I was like, holy crap. Like, and then that's when I started realizing bigger names. So I was like, oh, this guy, like, I didn't know who Ronnie Coleman was for the longest. I was like, who is this? Like, and it's funny, I mentioned that name to my mom, and she was like, oh, he was a police officer for Arlington. I was like, how do you know this guy? Like, you're not even in the field. Like, how do you know? But it was just like, I guess something that she knew for some reason. But
Small world.
yeah, it really was. But like, he's a 8-time Olympian champ, and he was massive. He was probably as big as this curtain. Like he was huge. Like I'm exaggerating, but he was huge. He's a really big name, very famous in bodybuilding. And bodybuilding to me was like it was. I didn't know it existed.
It was a stranger.
Yeah, like before 2018. I was like, all right. And then just being in a different environment, seeing that, I'm like, at first it was like, oh, I want to try it. Like, but then I realized like into it, I'm like, dang, this is starting to get hard. And I'm like, wait, I actually like that. Like it's getting harder. So let me try it. Like, and it was more of, I have to, a point to prove to myself. It wasn't because I wanted somebody in the outside world to be like, oh yeah, it was to me. It was like, okay, I need to do this. I need to finish it. And it was just like, slowly but surely I was like growing into it more. I was like, okay. And then I got a little bit better at it and better, and it keeps going. And I'm like, okay, I like this. Now, my husband, he's really into it. Like he could tell me a name. I'm like, what? Like I don't know names.
Was he into it before he did his first competition even?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
And that's why I chose to hire us a coach at that time to do one together, because I was like, he's really into it. Like, but why haven't you done it?
Why? What was his answer?
Let me see if I can remember this and not get this wrong. I think it was just I want to say it was just like
Just
the actually doing it. Like
right. The actual
yeah,
signing
like
up.
let me do it, because I know he knew where to get a coach. I knew he knew where to get what he needed or whatever it was to train. And but I think just the initiative to do it. It's like I think he
That
was worried,
push.
like worried about other things. Like, but once he did it, now it's like, okay, we need to figure something out so we can do our show, or I can do a show. Because like I told him, I was like, I don't see myself becoming a pro. I don't. I don't see myself doing that.
Why not?
Because people that take it to a pro level are very, very passionate about it. And I believe that I'm passionate for it in a different reason. So my passion for it is more of an accomplishment. And every bodybuilder, when they do it, it's an accomplishment, and that's their self-drive. Like, yes, we did it. But I'm okay in the level that I'm at. I'm
You
like,
have other priorities, you would say?
yeah.
Okay.
Because it does take a lot from someone who competes.
Right, you mentioned the
Anybody
time.
that competes and that gets to that pro level, boy, it's a sacrifice. Like I've sacrificed, but you have to literally dedicate your life to eat, breathe, and sleep bodybuilding. I have some friends that, they started off, same level as me, and now they're at, a pro level. And it's like, I seen them put the hard work. I've seen it. Like, I'm like, yeah, like.
What does a day look like
Of a bodybuilder?
of a bodybuilder? Say when you're prepping, what is a regular day look like?
I would say typical. Like,
Yeah.
I know a lady that she wakes up at 3:00 in the morning just because she has clients that she has to train. She wakes up at 3 in the morning, does her cardio at 4 in the morning, trains a client at 5, and does this. But she's crazy. And her name is Kiwi, and she's crazy. I love her to death. But normally what I would say any bodybuilder is like, you wake up at that time, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, you have to do what's called fasted cardio, meaning there's nothing in your body. You had your 8 hours of sleep, ideally, and you wake up and you do that fasted cardio if that's part of your workout regimen. Some people don't have to do it fasted in the morning. Some just have to do it post, whatever it is that your coach knows that what your body needs. And once you do your fasted cardio, you got to eat your breakfast. And your breakfast, it has to be weighed out. Everything has to be weighed out. And most people, I would assume, make their breakfast like right that day. It's more of like the meals, the chicken that's already pre-cooked, that I feel like it's already pre-cooked. You just weigh it out, or if you weighed it out the day before. You eat your breakfast, you go to work, you don't go to work, I don't know. And then, you have your 4 or 5 meals in between, your 8-hour shift of work, and then you go to the gym.
Which are also measured, I'm assuming.
Yeah, everything has to be measured, like
Mm-hmm.
to the T, like 3 ounces of asparagus, veggies, or 8 ounces of chicken, 124 grams of carbs. Like, okay, and you had to eat what you're told to eat. If your diet consists of carbs, it's either what your coach chooses, which are the main staples, either rice or like a sweet potato or potato type, some type. Those are the only things really that I know. And then, some coaches will do rice cakes, but it's mainly rice.
Mm-hmm.
Just eat rice, plain white rice. And the carbs are the basic carbs. It's, chicken and ground turkey for me because I was a female, but my husband, he needed red meat.
For the protein.
Well, for the red meat of what minerals it has different than like chicken. So it contains a lot more fat too. So he needed that to convert that into more muscle gain. And he would have to eat ground beef or steak. And I'm like, I'm over here eating tilapia and chicken the last couple days and just egg whites and no carbs. I go with no carbs because my category is different. My husband's a bigger guy, so he has to eat more, way more than I do. And he gets carbs, I don't. So it was just like each person's diet is different. It depends on what your category is because there is different categories. For women, there's bikini, there's wellness, there's physique and figure. For men, there's classic physique, there's open bodybuilding, and there's like levels, open bodybuilding, this heavyweight, lightweight. There's a lot of categories. And for most bodybuilding shows, they go for the men because it is more common that the men, what did I forgot who said this. I'm not saying it, but somebody said this. I heard it once. Bodybuilding is like people go for it being like a freak show. Like you want to know what the biggest, baddest, like it's like it amazes you. It's like I'm like I wouldn't call it a freak show, but yeah, like I forgot who said it. It's not me saying it.
Yeah.
I remember watching an Instagram video. I was like, that was kind of mean, but all right. But I get it. Yeah, like, I get it, but I was like, all right. But most of the time, it is for the men, and it's not uncommon. So it's like, but bodybuilding I feel like has grown over the years, and it's a lot more talked about than it was when I can remember. And it's just the only thing that I can say now about bodybuilding is like I feel like sometimes it gets taken away from the actual way that it's supposed to be. Like the sacrifice that you have to do that bodybuilding show. I've seen influencers online that say, "Oh, I'm a bodybuilder, but yet I've never done a bodybuilding show." Bodybuilding is building your body. I get that. Like that is a bodybuilding. But for people to say, I'm a bikini bodybuilder, but yeah, you've never done a show, you've never actually stepped on stage, I don't feel like you should categorize yourself like that.
Right.
The diet that it takes to, to do these shows, it's like it's intense. And you have people just eating, junk and, doing shows. I'm like, it takes away the whole principles of the bodybuilding.
The principles,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's my husband's subject. If you get him on that one, it's like, all right.
Okay, maybe we will. It sounds interesting. I love it when people, I especially love talking to people when they're so passionate about something, whatever that is, fill in the blank. But, because I think you get to the nitty gritty, for example, you're getting very detailed with the discipline, right? It's not just, yeah, I do it or, cheat every once in a while. No, it's like, for a specific amount of time, it's what it is.
Yeah, you literally have to eat what you're supposed to eat. Not a gram more, not a gram less, not this, not skip a meal, not, oh, I'm gonna have a cheeseburger this weekend because I deserve it. No, there are cheat meals, but it goes based upon what your body
You have
is doing.
parameters.
Yeah, like what your body's doing in those weeks. Oh, okay, like you need a refeed. That's what it's called. And that's when your coach will say, hey, yeah, you need a refeed. Go get a cheeseburger, no cheese, no fries, no nothing like that, just the burger.
Would that be depending on like the weight or your measurements?
Yeah, everything of how the coach sees your progress.
Okay.
If you look too flat, they're gonna be like, okay, your show's next week, go have a refeed. It just depends. And people that coach, need to know how to coach, because sometimes you have people that don't know how to coach
Mm,
to be like, oh yeah, do this, this, and this. And it's like, well, that's why that person looked like that, because you didn't coach them properly.
yeah.
So
So,
coaching.
so if somebody's looking to do, any sort of training or maybe looking for a coach, like what are some of the things they should be looking for in a coach to get a good coach? What would you say some of those questions should be?
Um, the main question I think that someone should ask when trying to find a coach is, you tell them what you need, and they can take that. Not for them to be like, no, you need to do this, this, and this. Like, this is what your priorities need to be.
Mm,
No, my goal is this, this, and this. That coach needs to understand that and be like, yeah, you know what? Let's work on your goals. Not I've seen it before where it's like someone will say, "Hey, I want you to be my coach. Like, I want to do this, this, and this." Like, okay, yeah, but I think you should do this, this, and this. No, but that wasn't, the person's goals. Like, assess their goals. Like, tell your goals and make sure that person can assess those goals at what you want to do. Now, if things change later down the road, like my first goal was like, I just want to work out. My goals changed on my own. Like,
right.
I want to do bodybuilding. So that's how mine went. So I feel like anybody that wants to find a coach, I feel like coaches are more for accountability and for also educational purposes. Like, if you don't know and you're going to the gym like you don't know anything, I do recommend if you go with a coach or someone that does know something about weightlifting, fitness, or something, so you have some type of guidance. YouTube can only do so much. But I feel like the main one would be, make sure that your goals are assessed first, and that's
Mm,
what their priority is. Your goals, not what they're telling you your goal should be. It's like your own.
okay, so it sounds like somebody that it's more like a listener that it's invested in you,
Yeah.
not what they think of what you should
Yeah.
be or do.
Yeah. Or someone just trying to collect money from you, because it can happen like, oh, oh, yeah, 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 we can train you. And it's like, you're not guiding your client. You're not doing this for your client. You have to do something for you. It's not just, oh yeah, bend your elbow. Oh yeah, do this. No, it's a lot more than just telling them, hey, do this. It's you build a relationship with this client. So they start confining in you. Like, but like, they want you to give them that comfort to be like, I need that push. So you got to help me push. And that's
Mm,
accountability is what I feel like a trainer really is. Accountability is one thing that when you hire someone, that's what it's for.
mm,
Like I said, some people need that lesson learned. Like, oh, I don't know how to work out. Cool. Once you learn how to work out, then why do you need a coach?
mm,
Accountability,
mm.
to be like,
Great point.
yeah, to be like, do it.
I agree 100%. The only coaches I've had other than sports was when I joined Orange Theory. Fantastic coach. I also want to have her on, which is Coach Ellie. And then now I train jujitsu, and so I like me looking at. I always look at coaching because I take it very seriously too, and I never looked at it as much as when I joined Orange, because when I joined Orange, I was like 50 pounds heavier than I am now. And I went in there because I wanted to lose weight to train jujitsu. And I hated being on the treadmill. I was first introduced, or not first introduced, but it was when I started using more often the rower. And I hated it. Well, this coach, Coach Ellie, she made me love it. Now I love the rower. Like sometimes, especially if I need a quick workout, the rower, and I love it. I and it's that was to me that was so mind blowing about how good like coaches can be, not just to coach but actually to inspire you to go in there and do something that most people hate doing. You walk out feeling great, feeling inspired, feeling ready to go make the world better. And it was her really. So and so when you talk about like, a coach won't just tell you how to do the right forms. It's somebody that's going to push you and inspire you in whatever way that is, and want to make you want to keep coming back to keep doing it and
Yeah.
do it better and more, and keep evolving. For you, it evolved into just working out. It evolved to bodybuilding. So it sounds like you had great mentors, because if you would have had some people who are like, yeah, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be around this. And, maybe who knows how that could have turned out. So yes, when you talk about like trainers, I mean, and I wanted to pick your brain on that because you obviously achieved a lot, and that's interesting you say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So you start your competition, and so at first, what was the hardest thing for you to get disciplined at? Because there's so much things you have to change, or to change or to stop doing to from um prepping your food and eating it. So what would you say some of those some of the biggest mental things that you had to kind of go through to change, because you did change?
I think one is like to wake up with that purpose. Like, I gotta wake up. I gotta do cardio. I don't want to get out to bed. I'm gonna skip it today. Like, no, I gotta get out of bed. Like, I'm not gonna get nothing done if I stay in bed. And that's just like that started playing in my life too. I'm like, because I got comfortable
Mm.
because I was working, I had my job. Okay. Like, I was doing okay. I was like, okay.
You got your house.
I'll sleep in today. Like, no, it gave me more of a reason to like get up, like, get up, get up. Now
Mm.
you got to do cardio, and I still implement that to this day. I can't eat and I can't get my day going until I go to the gym and do cardio. I still do fasted cardio to this day. My husband, he does it too. There's some days he's like, not today, but he's gotten like that too, where it's like, I'm gonna go do fasted cardio first. I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
Mm.
I can't get my day going without doing fasted cardio.
Mm.
Sometimes it's pointless, but I'm just like, I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna go on the stairs. I'm gonna go run. I'm gonna go do something. Like, I'll go sit in the sauna, wake myself up. Most people go in the sauna just to like relax after their workout. No, I go in there to wake up. I go in there and I stretch. I'm like, all right, now I'm sweating out. Like, now I need to get up. So I do my cardio like that. So that waking up, just trying to find the motivation and be like, I have to get this done because like I got to do an hour. And when that hour, like 37 minutes hits, I'm like, okay. All right, you're almost done. You're almost done. Home stretch. That, and then like the next one was like making myself eat because I don't want to eat that nasty food. Like, it was just getting so tiring and boring. I literally would have to like pretend and close my eyes and eat the food because it was like, it's boring.
Mm.
Like, I can't use any sauces. Hot sauce is the only one because it's 0 calories.
Mm. Lucky.
I'm going to every grocery store finding all the different types of hot sauce, Red Hot, Cholula, this, that, Taco Bell. Like, my thing was full of hot sauces because there's 0 calories.
Yeah.
But towards the end of my show, like getting closer to that day, I have to take those away too because of the sodium.
Mm.
So I'm like, I couldn't drink these 2 weeks out. I'm like, I hate my life. Like, this is horrible. Why am I doing this? And then after, the 2 weeks, those are like, I felt like those were my hardest, the last 2 weeks. And after that, I'm like, man, that was good. Like, oh, I can't believe I did that. So just
Yeah.
motivation to wake up and then eating my food. I would hate it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would just, instead of cooking my egg whites, I would drink them because I'm like, I'm about to eat this. I'm about to eat this. And I would drink them. And one time I tried to blend my chicken and eat it with my egg whites. That didn't work out. It didn't work out. It didn't work out, but it was okay.
Yeah, that's the funny the things that certain things make you want to try.
Yeah, I learned how to make pancakes just with egg whites and cinnamon. Literally spray egg whites and cinnamon. I learned how to make.
How do you do those?
You fluff the egg whites. You keep fluff. Yeah, you just
Until they're
like, yep, and then you just pour a little, flip it, and put sugar-free syrup on it. Spinach tortillas. You grab a little bit of spinach, egg white, blend that up, and then put it on the pan, flip it, and it becomes a tortilla.
Oh.
I fried my tilapia so hard, it became a chip. I put it in the air fryer for so long with seasoning. I would take it out, and it's like, just eat it with like a chip. Yeah. I came up with some weird things, and you were my husband.
That's awesome. I love that.
Like, he would be like, what did you just do? I'm like, I made a muffin with protein powder, a little bit of oatmeal, and egg whites. And he's like, this is actually pretty good. I've made all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, because I get bored. I'm like, I don't want to eat that today. So I just,
Wow, you get
I
creative.
get very creative. I'm like, well, oh well.
Yeah. So, how does your son take after you like up to this point with in regards to like the fitness world?
So he has his own fitness, I guess fitness ways. He does Muay Thai.
Mm.
He does baseball, and he likes both. But he's a kid, so he likes his chips. He likes this and that. And it wasn't until he started getting into Muay Thai that he realized, like, all right, I like, losing weight. So he did get a little heavier. And then when he started doing that, and then on top of the fact of my husband being like, my husband can walk by a mirror and you think girls are bad. My husband's the worst. My husband will walk by a mirror and be like, like, babe, you don't have to, like, and he's like, no, I don't. I'm like, yeah, you do. So my son does it too. So my son will flex because now my husband has like done it so many times. I'm like, Eli does it too. But
That's funny.
he wanted to do a bodybuilding show. I don't know if he still wants to do it,
Mm.
but for the most part, I cook the way I would if I prep. I literally grab 2 packs of chicken, I season them, whatever I do, put them on the grill. They're good for 3 days. We all eat the same thing every day. I am that boring of a cook. I will still cook like I'm prepping for a show. So I grab big old container of chicken, big old container of ground beef and rice. And every day we have the same meals every day.
Makes it
But
easy.
it makes it easy. There's days where I cook like a steak, some enchiladas, something random, and I'll cook it. But for the most part, out of the whole week, we do that, and then on the weekend, we'll kind of like whatever. But I mix it up. I like put different sauces. I'll make it into a burrito one day, or a salad another. So it's easier because it's already there. And a family of, I consider my husband like 3 people. So a family of 5, that it helps.
Yeah.
So he eats a lot.
Yeah, well, he's 6 foot and he's a bodybuilder. I can't imagine because Logan eats a lot. I mean, he does work out too, but he's not 6 foot.
This man could eat a whole pizza, eat some ice cream, and sit down. And an hour later, am I starving? You haven't fed me all day. What the? You just ate. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And I never feed him. That's his thing. He's like, you don't feed me. I'm like, dang, well, we just went to the grocery store, spent $350, and this is what my fridge looks like. 2 glasses of water in there. That's like, it's all gone.
That sounds about right.
Oh yeah, and power lifters, bodybuilders, everybody, when COVID happened, like, I have a deep freezer and I've always had it stocked, right? And when COVID happened, I felt like I could have been slanging some chicken and upselling it because there was no chicken, there was nothing. Everyone was like, "There's no protein, there's no meats, and I'm over here like, I got enough. Like, I was good. So there was times where I would see friends post that they couldn't find chicken, they had to go to different grocery stores.
I remember those days.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, I could be slinging some chicken. Like, I got tilapia.
Yeah, I remember taking video of the stores of. They literally looked like an episode from what was that zombies show?
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. Yeah. Yes. It's been a long time I haven't seen the show, but yeah, it literally felt like that. You know how they'd go to the stores and things would be picked out or some stuff would be empty, and I'm like, I would take video. I'm like, this is like unreal.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. But your house was stocked.
It was stocked. And like, even now,
should have known then.
Yeah, even now, like, I take something like whatever I cook that week when I go to the grocery store. I'm like, okay, I used 4 packs of chicken. I gotta buy 4 packs of chicken. I gotta do this. So I have to replenish every time. And I'm like, my husband eats too much.
So are you a good planner? Would you say that? Because as I got older, I realized the power of planning.
Mm-hmm.
So, because all that stuff takes planning, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Okay, how much do I need? And
yeah, I have a list at home. Like, if something runs out, I tell my son, like, hey, make sure you write it. If you use the last of it, like mayonnaise, whatever it is. That way, when I go to the store, If I get really bored, I'll rewrite the grocery list because I memorize like how Walmart is laid out. And I go to Walmart because I love Walmart. Not everybody is a Walmart person. I am. And I will literally like categorize what everyone put on the list or what I did into groups. Okay, I know the fruit and vegetables are first, then it's the frozen stuff, then it's the condiments, and then it's this and so I put the grocery list like that. So when I'm like, okay, and I you know, or when I look at it, I'm like, okay, I'm coming up to this aisle. Let me look. I was like, okay, I need this, this, and this.
So do you write it like in a paper?
Yeah, I'm old school. I
Okay.
like writing on paper.
Have you ever tried like using Alexa?
No,
That's like so mind blowing because it categorizes it for you.
no.
And then you have an app, so you just kind of
I'm
scroll.
old school. Okay, I like my pen and my paper.
You like to scratch it off that
Yes.
dopamine
Yes.
hit.
I'm like, yes. Oh, and sometimes I don't even scratch it off. I just look at it. I'm like, and then when I'm done with the paper, I'm like, and then just throw it away. And I feel like I, I, I don't know if it's just me, but the power of writing, whatever, like it could just be the grocery list or it could be my feelings. I keep a journal with my feelings or how I felt that day. And I don't know if it's because my dad spent a lot of time in jail. And as a kid, I had to write my dad. That was the sad part. I'm like, the only time I get to communicate with my dad is when he's in jail. So I would write him constantly. We would write each other. And I was like, that was the only person who would really write him. My sister wouldn't because she was like, why do I have to talk to him now? I'm like, true. Um, I'm like, well, that's true. But I feel like I'm so used to writing. It was writing my feelings down when I was talking to my dad or what happened. Like, I still do it to now.
Wow.
Like, I'll be like writing in my little journal. And then, like, if my husband sees me writing, he's like, talking crap about me. No, not this time. No, it's not about you.
It's funny. I was actually going to ask that next if you had like any sort of like journals you kept, which now I know you do. And so, right. Have you always kept a journal?
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know if you remember, but I'm a SpongeBob chick, right? And that's literally my email still to this day. One of them. I think you got the more professional one. But I had a journal from back in the day, and it was seventh grade. It said it on there, seventh grade.
Wow.
And I opened it up, and I didn't realize I did this. The first like 5 or 6 pages, I wrote in it, and then I folded it and I stapled it. I opened it like maybe a couple months ago, and I was like, "Holy crap!" I was like, "I did get married." Like, oh my god, I wanted to be a hairdresser. What the heck am I thinking? Like, I opened it, and I was
Wow.
like, Jesus.
So why did you staple it? Like, what was it like was it your dreams, a list of your dreams or goals,
I
or?
don't know. I was just writing my feelings and I just stapled it. And I
Wow.
don't know if when I was in seventh grade, if I was like, I'll open it later. I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I stapled
Wow.
it, but I did. And I still have that journal. I'm like, and as crazy as like, I can't remember if I wrote notes to you, but I know I did in sixth grade and seventh grade. And like I was writing notes, like we didn't text back then. So we would fold the paper, like however we would fold it, and then we would like give it to our
And you would
friends.
get creative of
Yeah.
how to fold it.
So especially the one where it like looks like a little envelope.
Yes.
So I have
Okay.
a lot of those letters, and one name that keeps popping up is my friend Elizabeth that I went to elementary school with. I'm still friends to this day with her. Her name pops up a lot in there because we wrote a lot to each other. But I have a bunch of notes from friends that I used to like write and like fold them up, whatever, pass them to each other. So I have a lot of their notes to me, and I'm like, I should probably go through this one day. I'm like, nah, it's like a little shoebox full of paper. And I'm
Wow.
like, no. I'm like, no. So I think that's why still to now I keep a journal because I'm like, in the beginning of my journals, I always say, do not read any pages till this book is full. So I have to fill the journal up first. And then if I want to start my book, I'll start the first chapter and continue on. So I don't ever try to read what I wrote 3 days ago, 2 months ago, whatever it is.
Hmm. Wow, that is very deep.
Yeah.
I do have a journal now, but I didn't always have one, so that's
helps.
it really does.
Yeah.
It really does. So how often do you write? And is it just whenever you get the feeling, or do you have a do you have like a goal?
I tried the goal thing. Like I tried to be like, okay, every, this time of and I'll do this. No, it doesn't mean anything to me when I do it. When I'm like, all right, fine, I'll write it. It's
Mm,
more when I feel like if
makes
I'm
sense.
sad, if I'm happy, if I'm angry, I'm like, all right, I need a vent because now I'm a stay-at-home wife. I don't work And a lot of people that I thought were friends are like, I don't communicate with them that much. And people that I don't like talk to like I used to anymore, I'm like, who am I gonna talk to? Like, all right, I write in my journal. And I feel like my journal is my friend. Like I'm
Mm,
telling you my feelings because
right.
I don't need your opinion. I just want to tell you what's going on. So I think that's why I like my journal. Because I'm like, whenever I feel any kind of emotions, whether it's a daily life, whether it's an argument with my husband, whatever it is, I write it down. Because I'm
Mm,
like, I don't need nobody's opinion. I don't even need his. I'm like, I just want to write it down. Like I want to
mhm.
feel it out. And honestly, every time I write it, I feel even better. I'm like, huh, I could be happy writing something happy, but then like after I write it, I'm like, I'm more happy. If I'm sad, I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, okay, I feel good. All right,
Yes.
decompressed, cool, and then get my
Yes.
day going.
Yes. It's like you just kind of puke it there, like, okay, got it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, does this happen for you? Like sometimes when I'm like writing, it like I get other ideas.
Hmm.
Like it helps me actually think
Yeah, it does.
forward versus repeating
Yeah.
the same thing.
When I'm about to write in my journal, I'm like, I know what I'm gonna write about. This is going on in my head. This and this, and then I start writing. I'm like, wait, this too, and then like other things pop up in my head. I'm like, I didn't even write down what I was thinking. Like something else just popped up in my head.
Yes. 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 There's definitely, when you mentioned there's a power in writing, definitely I
Yeah,
agree with that. Although I don't write
I
the
can't
grocery
spell.
list.
It's okay.
It's all right as
I
long
was,
as you know.
yeah, I think I was like in the seventh grade. I think I was young, and I remember my sister being on the couch, and I was on the floor, and I look at her. I'm like writing something for school. And I'm like, Vanessa, how do you spell of? She's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. And I hated my mom and my sister always used to do this. They would say, sound it out. I'm like, of, oven, O-V-E. Are you stupid? What? Like oven, of, oven. She's like, oh, F. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, I really thought of oven. So I was like, O-V-E,
Yeah.
of, right? She's like, are you stupid? I was like, no. Oh,
No,
F.
why am
Oh,
I?
F. Oh, F. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. It was the simplest word sometimes. I'm like,
Just like in life, sometimes it's the simplest things we make a whole scene or drama out of. But I was wondering too, sometimes when people do like very what people would consider crazy things, or like, oh, she kind of went kind of nuts over there in the workout world. We don't even see her anymore. I don't know, how was your relationship with the people around you? What did they how supportive, or how were they towards you when you decided to take on something challenging? And
at first, like my mom and my family, they didn't understand it. They were like, wait, why? And even when I lost all that weight and I was a little toothpick, my mom was just like she didn't tell me don't do it, like, but it was more of a question, why are you doing it?
mhm.
And my sister would ask me to, but my mom would help me if I asked her, like, hey, mom, I didn't get this groceries, whatever. Like, she would go get them for me or something. My sister would come over and help me cook. My friends, they liked to go out and party, but they knew, no, let's not invite Yesenia. She can't go out. And they didn't change their relationship with me. It just changed the fact that they knew they couldn't ask me to do certain things. And a lot of times when I get ready for shows, it's around holidays. And that's like the hardest one. I miss like Thanksgiving. Sometimes I miss Christmas, my own birthday. Like I can't eat what I want because I got to eat this. And so most people, I guess, because of the relationships I build with people, like my family, friends, they see who I am. They see how funny and energetic and I can be, and that I'm loving and caring. Do for you if I can. And then they realize when I begin prep, I'm a different person. Like it's like my happy energetic is still there, but it's different. I'm still willing to do for you, but it's different. Like everything's different and everyone understood that. So nobody like really bashed me, really like, no, that's stupid. Why are you doing it? It was more like, oh yeah, like cool, like we're here for you. And if I
That's
needed
awesome.
something, they were there. And a lot of people knew when I was on it because it's like things about me changed and then my physical appearance changed. But at the end, everyone always told me the same thing. Dude, we're proud of you. Like, I didn't believe you could do that. I didn't know you could do that. And it was just everyone's comments were the same. So I was like, I have support.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did because it would have been more difficult having people being negative to me.
Right, right. Yeah, that's really good. I guess it speaks a lot of how you are, right? So, you have a supportive family, and then you have all these goals that, you decided to put on yourself, and made things easier. But, it speaks of like kind of where you come from.
Yeah.
You got a supportive family, and you're a great person raising a great son from what it looks like already. So that's wow, yeah, man. Time goes by so fast,
Crazy. Yeah.
right? And so what are your goals? You mentioned you're a stay-home mom. What are your goals now for like the coming years?
Um, so my goal that I had planned to do and I hadn't done just yet was when I bought the home at first in 2018, I knew this was a forever home, meaning I'm gonna forever keep this home. Why? Because I'm gonna rent it out. If I rent it out, cool. But more like the moral of it was if my son needs somewhere to be, I have somewhere my son can be. If I have more children, they always have somewhere to be. They always have something called home. And I got that from my mom because my mom did the same. She was like, this is a family home. This is my kid's home. She never considered it her home. She said kids' home. So this is where her children, this is their home. So I wanted to do that as well. And then, well,
Mm,
my son, I don't feel like you don't want them to, but I don't feel like my child's going to go through anything like that where he'll need that. But I just, in the back of my head, if you need it, it's there. But it being a rental property because I knew I got this home, whoever I decide to be with, whoever I want to be with, marry or whatever, I need to build with them. We
mm,
can't build on something that's already here. We got to build together. So that home, like I said, rental. My next goal is to get a either build or get a duplex, a triplex, something like that, and get that going. Um, and then after we get that going, then possibly start building our home because me and my husband both agree we want to build our home. And then we'll have two, three, four, maybe, rentals, and that will be my income. It kind of, sort of, I know it's not going to be like bomb going the first time, but positive is the home that I have is already, I got that one on a really good deal. And what it's worth now, I'm like, I can charge this one, we'll be okay.
right.
So,
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely an appreciating investment.
yeah, so that was one. But then thinking about it, I'm like, well, I don't really know anything about property management. Maybe I can go do some property management somewhere to get my foot in the door to understand what it is to be a landlord, because that's a whole nother ballgame. I'm like, great. And since I've been married, it'll be a year in March. I have not worked. And at first I was like, well, why don't I work? Why don't I do this? And my husband's like, that's not what you want to do. I'm like, maybe if I go back to the dentist office. He was like, if you want to. I'm like, what do I want to do? And I spoke to a realtor recently and she was telling me like kind of, what my steps could be or whatnot. And one thing that she told me is she said, you are lucky to have your husband because he is allowing you to find yourself and what you want to do,
Right.
that you don't have to work right now. And you want to. And if you choose to, at least your husband there is being supportive. I was like, yeah, he really is. Like, I didn't think about it like that. It was more of like, babe, I got everything. You don't got to work. I'm like, I thought that's what thing was. But I think underline, it's like, you don't know what you want to do yet. Go figure
Figure
it
it
out.
out.
And I love him for that. So I'm like, well, I just asked him today this morning. I was like, babe, when you're tired, like, how do you push yourself? He goes, I got no choice. I just got to do it. I'm like, oh. When I'm tired, he's like, what? I said, I go to sleep. He's like, must be nice, huh? I was like, yeah, it's really nice. But I was like, I need to stop being like that. He's like, I need to find my drive again. He was like, okay.
Yeah, like,
'Cause-
okay,
yeah,
do it.
yeah. Because it's always been like, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to keep moving.
Right.
But this last year, I don't know if it's because I became a wife and I was just like, I'm a wife. I just,
You're just it sounds like you're just taking the moment for what it is, and then
because some people, when I was younger,
for now.
yeah. When I was younger, I would tell myself like, I don't want to get married. Like, why would I get married? Like, a man telling me what to do, me doing this for a man. And I'm like, and then I got a little older. I was like, all right, if I get married, like, okay, I'll cook, I'll clean, but dang, I gotta work too. Like, and as that's what I was thinking, I'm like, how's something gonna be 50-50? I'm like, how is that fair? But a marriage isn't a relationship. A good
Mm,
relationship is not 50-50. It will never be 50-50. 80-20. 30-70, like it will never be 50-50, and you have
right.
to learn how to lose some battles to be able to win what you need in the future. You're not always going to win every battle. It has to be both. Like each one
Right.
has to lose. And
It's a
some
negotiation.
yeah, and some people are like, I can't be, stay at home. I can't be just, having this or whatever. And at first I was like that too. I'm like, no, I can't do that. Like the man, no, no. And it wasn't until I got married to my husband where I'm like, no, I enjoy cooking for you. I enjoy having, when we go do fasted cardio, he goes and showers, I let him go do that, and I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking, doing everything, and right when he sits down, his hot breakfast is there, and I just enjoy it. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy catering to my husband. And some people are like, no, that's like doing this, and I enjoy it.
Right.
I don't care what anybody else have to think.
Right.
I don't think it makes me any a little of a person. This is what I enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
My husband is the one working. My husband is the one holding this house together. The least I can do is make him happy so it can keep on going. Because
Right.
if I make him mad, sad, if angry him, it's not gonna be a happy house.
Right.
Like,
it's a teamwork thing.
yeah, it's not the, I forgot what the other saying is, but it's not happy wife, happy life. No, I forgot what it is, but it's like happy something, happy home. I forgot what it was.
Happy life, happy home, happy.
It rhymes with home. I forgot what it was, but it was something like that. I'm like, that's true. It's not just the wife has to be happy to be a happy life. It has to be, both have to be happy. Why does one person have to be sad? Why does one person have to be miserable? Why does one person have to do all the hard work? No, it's like
Right.
the home has to be happy.
Right. 100%. I mean, I think, everybody has a job, and if everybody does a job, and that job can be different things, right? It can mean anything. It can be both people working and then both splitting the stuff at home, or it could be anything, right? And it's just a happy life. I think I 100% agree with you. I think it's just doing what you love, and it falls down really to to loving yourself. I think because when you love yourself, you're already in a better mindset, and and if you're in a better mindset, then you'll be inspired to do some of those things that some people would be like, oh, you want to do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you'll be inspired, like, yeah, this is what makes me happy. And then I'm sure you'll get I think it's even easier. And I'll say this for this reason, right? Like before Logan, I was married before, right? And I think before we were always, and this is something that I learned from like experience, right? Nobody told me. I feel like I was trying to change him and he was trying to change me. Like, I'm like, oh, you should be like this so I can be happy. And I feel like he was doing the same thing. You should be doing this to be happy. Now, you love to cook. I don't like to cook at all, And for me, I'm like, okay, I'm trying. I'm doing something I dislike. And then but, we were always expecting things from each other without us really, I would say, knowing what we even wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't work out. Found Logan, and something that he taught me was that, like, even sometimes I tried at the beginning to continue those negative habits. I'm like, oh, this or that, you should do this, and I noticed very quickly he never like told me I should be any other way. And when I was an asshole at Logan, and then time would go by and I would feel like shit because I treated him like shit and he didn't treat me like shit back. And I would be like, hey, Logan, I'm sorry. And he would like hug me and say, it's okay. I love you. It's all right. And we just wouldn't talk about it anymore. He didn't, he wasn't mean back to me. He, even when I was a total asshole, he was patient, and sometimes at the beginning, he would try to fix things quickly, but we quickly found out I needed my time to kind of decompress and get unmad so I can start thinking logically and say, I'm sorry. And when I think it was his reaction to the whole thing from the beginning to the end where he was like, it's okay, still love you. And we would go on and have a great day. And I was like, wow. And, when you talk about support, hey, finding yourself, Logan's thing from day one was, but money aside, if money was not a factor, what do you want to do? Like, what is it that you want to do, you know? And so, you're speaking as like what you're doing, what you want to do, the same thing. Like now I want to do things for him because I want to make him happy because he makes me so happy.
Yeah.
So and it's like it's no, oh, I just need to do it because this is what wives should do. No. So yeah. I mean, I can
You sound similar to what my husband used to do.
mm,
One thing I've always like started telling myself is you can't change a person, the person will change for you. Not everyone's meant to be who they think they're supposed to be met with. And one thing that I struggled with my husband is he's very stubborn. Like, no, this is what I believe in. Like, oh, you want, oh, when he gets his moods, it's like, nope, I don't hear nobody else but in my own head.
right.
And he was just so used to that because it was always, he had to think for himself, do for himself. It's always himself. And that was understandable because of his background, everything. It was always, you know, think on your toes pretty much. And he would always tell me, I don't have time for feelings. I'm like, okay. Our story was we dated for a year, we split for a year, we reconnected last February, and 2 weeks later we got married. Yeah, and we eloped in Vegas, and it was just like we were talking to each other, and I was like, I said it first. I was like, why don't we just go get married? He was like, no, because the last time we rushed our relationship the first time and it ended ugly and I just don't want to do that again. This and that. I was like, yeah, you're right. And then we started talking about things in the future like we'd had before. And it wasn't like till 2 days later, he was like, you know what? Let's just go get married. I was like, you're not serious. He was like, yeah. I was like, okay, send me some money right now. And I'll start booking tickets because he was a truck driver. And he was driving from one city to another state. So he was driving through. So I booked him a flight from where he was going to stop. And me from Dallas, my son didn't even know. And I took my son with me. We went to Vegas, got married, surprised everyone, and then just, had our ups and downs and everything. But one thing I tried to do before when we first were dating was I tried to change him. I'm like, no, you have to do this because I'm doing this. You have to do this. And how my husband is, I had to learn that, like you're saying, he had to learn you. I had to learn to be patient. I have no patience. I had no patience. When something made me mad, it was like, no, this, and I'm a control freak. I'm like, no, you have to tell me sorry. Like my husband had to learn that. And me doing what I did, like you're saying Logan did for you, my husband started picking that up. And it's all like when he's mad at me, I used to want to just be around him. Like, no, babe, no, let's talk about it. Let's talk about our feelings. No. He makes fun of me. He's like, you just want to talk about feelings. I'm like, well, how does that make you feel? Don't trick me. I'm like, it's okay. Like, talk to me. But now it's like, okay, when my husband's upset and he's got to that point, I'm like, I'll be back. The dude got him a motorcycle because I'm like, he's always told me, even when we first started dating, oh, a motorcycle is the way I decompress. A motorcycle this, motorcycle that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And when we got married, I was like, what can I do for my husband? So I was like, let's go get a motorcycle. So we went to go get a motorcycle. And when he would get mad, he'd be like, I'll be back. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And I used to, when he used to walk away from me, I'd blow his phone up or, bug him. And it was just like, it wasn't healthy. So I was like, now I let him breathe, give him his space. And then depending on where he's at or what he's doing, babe, can I get a hug? Yeah, come on. If he tells me yeah, that means we're good. If he tells me no, I just need space. Okay, I'll come back later.
Yeah, so, he's still. Yeah, I feel him.
And when we start, we're at that point where it's like he's calmed down. He's had time to think about what I did say. He'll talk to me, be like, you know what? I do get where you're coming from. Blah blah blah. This and that. I'm like, we are talking about feelings, but I don't like to roll that in. And I was just like, yeah. And then, when this happens, like, you sometimes you do this. Maybe if you stop doing this, I can stop doing this. And it might work out. Like, we're talking about it.
Yes.
And he slowly started changing some of his ways because when I used to speak to him, it was a fight just saying, hey, babe, what? Like, oh, wait, hold on. What did I do? And it wasn't something I did. It was just maybe how he was feeling or something.
Right.
So it's like he's learned like, okay, I need to tone down myself because this happens just automatically. And when I notice something, I'm like, okay, I can't change that. Let me let him change it. So now it's changed where I still get what I want. We still talk about our feelings and what's bothering me or bothering him, but I just do it in a different way because it's the way that works for him to work for me. I'm like,
Right.
all right, instead of doing it the way it should be done, I think it should be done. No, it has to be done this way because it needs to be done that way because that's how we work with each other.
Right.
I'm like, okay. And another way I know he can get unmad at me is if he's mad, just bring him a bowl of something to eat. Like, here, babe. We're like, is it good? Yeah. Okay. You want to watch a movie? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's it's well, there's no manual for this, right? And there's no one size fits all, right? And it's definitely something that's a learning thing. Like you have to live it and you have to engage with somebody else and then start figuring out how to control that inner dragon.
Yeah.
Really, it's what it is, right?
And me and him are just alike. We are literally the same person. We're both stubborn. We're both hard headed. We're both like, no, do what I say type of person. Like, we are so alike in so many ways. And that's how I know. I was like, yeah, this is my person. Like, I call him my tenderoni.
Your
for that.
tenderoni.
Yes. Because we met on Tinder.
That's cute. Okay, that's really
And
cute.
his humor is almost like mine because I'll tell him, like, oh, yeah, tell her how we met. We met at the grocery store. We met at the gym. Or I'll ask people, how do you think we met? Oh, at the gym. Because they both, like, they can see we work out and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, Tinder. Which one's the good one? Swipe left or swipe right?
I would assume the gym. I don't know. I've never been on the
Okay,
app.
one of them's like yes and no, right?
Uh-huh.
And he said he was clicking no all the time on me. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man, like I kept swiping this way and you just kept popping back up. I was like, maybe because I swiped this way for you and I was saying yes, you were saying no, and Tinder was trying to tell you, like,
Yes.
talk to
Yeah.
her. And then we went on a date, and I guess, like, I don't know, a lot went down, and he just didn't like me, I guess, and he ghosted me for 2 days. And by the second day, I was like, dude, like, what's up? Nothing? Oh, okay. A day later, I was like, all right. I called him. I was like, hey, you're going to talk to me or you're not going to talk to me. I'm too old to be playing this game. You're either going to talk to me or you're not. I was like, if you want to sit there, run around, play with other people, you can do all that, but that's not me. So you're going to talk to me or not talk to me. He's like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? I was like, nothing. So I was like, all right, cool.
And so, how did the first date go for you with him?
We sat down. Okay, so when I saw his picture, I was like, oh, cool. I thought he was like Middle Eastern or something because he catfished me. No, but his picture, I was like, you looked like you were from the Middle East somewhere. He was like, huh. And then when I got closer, I was like, no, okay. And I sat down, I was confused. I was like, my second question was like, what are you? Because I didn't know.
I'm a
like,
mouse. Duh.
Yeah, like I didn't know. I was like, he confused me because he looked like he was mixed. He was whatever. And I'm like, he's like, I'm Hispanic. I was like, that's it? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. And we just started talking. And then like him talking about himself and his background, I was like, I've always told myself, I was like, ooh, a man in a uniform, meaning it could be a police officer, a military man, a firefighter, whatever. And I was just like, ooh, man in a uniform. He was ex-military. And then the job he told me he had, I was like, ooh, one of them. You're not just sitting at the desk. You like the action. Okay. Talk to me more. And then, fitness and this and that. I was like, in my head, I was like, yeah. And I had recently lost my father. So I was like, he reminded me of my dad. It's some characteristics, the way he jokes and stuff. My dad does the same thing. And that's where I've gotten it from because that's, a trait that I feel like he gave me. But I was like, man, and I don't know if like just hearing him, and he was bald. My dad was bald. I was like, all right, I like this guy. But like kept talking to him. I was like, I really like this guy. I never thought about getting married, but yeah, I might want to marry this guy. And he's the first person I ever said, like, I would marry you. And I've never said that because I was always opposed to marriage. And then when we reconnected, I was like, dude, just might as well do it. Like, why not? Like, just go do it. He was like, no, didn't work out the first time. Like, let's do it right this time. I'm like, all right. And then time came and he was like, all right, let's just go do it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like I had to implant stuff in his head sometimes when I say, hey, babe, like, look at this garden or something. Like he knows how I like doing naturey stuff. And like, I can't tell him, babe, take me here. I got to like throw it in him and be like, hey, babe, you want to go here? I'm like, oh my God, that place is beautiful. Just sent it to you last week, bro. Like, You can't tell him what to do. He has to like, oh, look,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it on my own. You did it on your own. Okay.
You came up with a grand idea. Yeah, no, that's funny. You figured it out.
Yeah,
You're very creative.
Very.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm hungry. Like, yeah, you're hungry too? Yeah. Dang, you know what you haven't had in a long time? You're like, what? You haven't had Chinese food in a long time. Yeah, let's go get Chinese. Knowing that I love Chinese food, I'm like, it's okay.
Oh yeah, it sounds like you guys are just having fun.
Yeah.
Everybody's in agreement. They're, it's a happy house.
He's like, oh, God. Like, I go out with him. I'm like, babe, take more pictures. He's like, oh, all right. And then later on, like, posting them, showing them off. I'm like, I take that picture of you. Because I'll force him to take pictures because he'll take his own selfie, but like his good photos, like with a background or something, good scenic, it's me. I catch him off guard or I get something. He's like, oh, that one was nice. And I'm like, you get annoyed when I do it, but then you like it. So I'm like, all right, my husband is special.
What do you guys like to do for fun?
Watch movies in bed.
Mm.
He says I don't like to watch movies, but the thing is, he likes to watch First 48 and like weird movies. There's a lot of days where I just want to watch Disney. Like, I'm still a big kid at heart. And I'm like, the other day I was like, babe, we always watch something. He likes movies that are something that has to do with like military background or something like that. Like he likes action movies. Like it doesn't even have to be like military background. It could be like Taken, like something with that intense action. And I'm like, we always watch something you watch. Can we watch something I want to watch? He's like, what? Like Bug's Life. He's like, fine.
Oh yeah, but he'll do it.
He'll do it.
Do you guys watch any shows?
Yeah, we watch several shows and we finish them, and then we start something else. We recently finished Game of Thrones.
Oh
yeah, I like that one. We both seen it before. But
I'm sure he liked it too. There's a lot of action there.
Yeah, a lot of action. So we rewatched it, and then
oh wow,
we watched this thing called 911. It's on Hulu. We watched that, and it's about firefighters in Los Angeles, and we watched that. And then
how's that?
It's good.
I've seen it. I've seen the ad, just haven't seen the show.
I like that one more than I do the 911 Lone Star. That's the one that's here in Texas.
Okay.
The one in Texas is kind of more, I don't know. There's scenes in it. I'm like, that's really corny. Like,
okay.
All right, that's like really corny. But the other one we liked. We'll find something to watch. It could be like a movie, but if we find a show and we actually like it, we try to tell each other like, hey, let's wait to watch it together. But what I like to do is, because I'm home all day, I'll watch an episode or two and then I'll rewind it, like go back and watch it with him and act about like, oh my God. He caught me one time because I was like asleep. He was like, you're asleep. I was like, babe, I already watched this one. I was like, asleep.
You crack me up. Oh man. So all right. So it's over an hour and a half. I want to be generous of your time. And so with every episode, I end it with 2 final questions.
Not about the car driving, right?
Oh no, we did talk about, we said we were going to save that. Oh, okay. So tell me, before the pod started, we were talking, so it's raining today and it's probably not going to air. Well, it's not going to air today. So, who knows how the weather's going to be like. But we were talking about you driving here and your senses.
Yeah.
So tell me, remind me what's going on with you?
I can't hear out of my left ear. I can't smell. I can taste, but everything tastes different. I used to love chocolate. Now chocolate tastes disgusting. These taste like chemicals, and it's crazy. Like I drink them still. Everything tastes different. The only things that I like is something like with a lot of salt. Like I was pouring salt on my eggs, and my husband was like, "Hey, oh." I'm like, "Yeah, like mind your business. Like this is mine." Like, and then I'm nearsighted. That means you can see near, so I can't see far.
Right.
And driving in the rain, I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, I just hate it because I can't see. And you said something about you don't like, I shouldn't be driving, or I don't like driving. I'm like, well, I shouldn't be driving.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of feel a little guilty of having you drive over here.
My husband says that all the time. He's like, no, because like I'll say I'll drive. No, no, and I shouldn't be driving because I think this number's right. I've been in like 14, 15 accidents. 8 of them have been my fault, and 5 of them I fell asleep on the wheel because I get so tired. I literally had just gotten 8 hours of sleep, and I hit the highway. 30 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, so I really
Wait,
shouldn't be driving.
18 accidents. Wait, what'd you say?
15.
Oh, 15.
8 of them been my fault.
Okay.
And then about 5 of them is when I fall asleep. And the worst one was when I was leaving, when I was going to TCC. I was leaving and I fell asleep in the parking lot because I was so tired. I was like, I'll miss class. And I fell asleep and I missed the class. And I was like, all right, I'll just drive home. And luckily I was driving with the window down. And like right there where TCC is like the street kind of goes like this, like a curve. And I didn't follow the curve. I went like closed my eyes for a second. And that second there was a car coming and I was like head on to her. But I had just like completely like swerved just a little bit. And we hit like that. And I didn't have my seatbelt on. And like I was so lucky. I was like, and the other one's just been tired. Like I think it's called highway hypnosis. Like I literally hit the highway and I can like that was today when I was driving with my husband. We were driving and I was just like I was literally playing my game. I was like, babe, I'm tired. Like I just
Wait, 15 accidents and you've fallen asleep
5
for 5 of them.
Yeah.
And 8 of them have been your fault.
Yeah. Like there was one where I accidentally hit a lady because I wasn't paying attention because I was on my phone because she was at the little yield of the turn right there. And I was like, oh, no cars coming. Oh, no cars coming. My phone. I was like, oh, okay, no cars. But I didn't pay attention to that she didn't move. So I was like, oh.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So have any of those taken you to to the hospital?
No. That serious one, I refused to go. I just kind of like didn't want to get in the ambulance and stuff. Or did I get in the ambulance?
For the TCC one?
I did get in the ambulance because I was bleeding. I had blood coming down from here. It's because I guess the sun visor hit my head up here and I got like a little cut. Nobody got hurt in my accidents. Everyone's still alive. I'm still alive. It was just minor fender benders.
Yes. So what's do you plan on getting like some glasses or just not driving?
No, they're there.
Oh, they're there?
Yeah. I remember one time when I got my first pair of glasses, we were in a gym and I had these little glasses. I was like, I'm so cool. And then I lost them that day because I left them on a bleacher and someone took them. So I was like, all right. I
guess I get no glasses.
I still have those glasses.
Oh, you do?
I went to go re-get them and I still have those.
Okay.
And when I was under my mom's insurance, I would get glasses every year. And I have a collection. Sunglasses and glasses. I just don't wear them.
Why don't you?
Well, if I get pulled over, I do. I'll be like,
oh my gosh.
restriction on my license.
You are crazy. It sounds like I should give you some driving lessons. I'm the best driver. Right, Logan?
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah, no, that is you gotta be safe out there. I'm worried for you.
And I'll be okay.
Do you try to stay off the highway more often
I
than
try
not?
to stay out of the car. Like my gym is literally down the street. And I'm like, all right. Yeah.
That helps. Oh gosh. And okay, so the ear, when did that start?
June.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it was just any loud hearing?
I think it was because like I worked in that nightclub for so many years. I just think it started getting worn out, and then just loud music one day just kind of.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And the eyes, you always just
yeah. Been like, well, I can't see. What is that? Oh well, I can assume what it says, and I know red. I think that's the color red. That means stop. All right, green, go. Okay. We're good.
And the smell and taste, did that come from COVID?
That came shortly after I lost my ear. So I'm like, yeah, maybe it's all related. I went to a specialist. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But I have an MRI schedule to see what's going on with my ear and my sinuses and all that. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, okay. So you're waiting to hear back. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Well, hopefully it all comes back at some point. The cells do their thing and then they...
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, well.
So, Yesenia, what are the like I said earlier, every episode I ended with two questions, and the first question is, what is what is the greatest piece of advice you've ever received?
Mm. Oh, you want me to say it now? Um, I don't know if I received this or I just heard it somewhere. It was, I don't want to die thinking woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Oh,
So I would have done this. I should have done that. I could have done that. Like you just, whatever you do, think, whatever, do it, live in the moment. Like you want to go skydiving? Go skydiving. You want to start a business? Start your business. Start your podcast? Start your podcast. Whatever it is. Don't die thinking woulda, coulda, shoulda.
oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good one. It sounds like you're living by it
Yeah.
too. And the second question is, what is your personal definition of happiness?
Hmm. I feel like happiness, when someone feels happy or has happiness in their life, you feel something in your body, like whatever it is, like butterflies in your stomach, heart racing, that feeling, whatever it is that makes you feel that feeling inside. And it might not even be something that makes you like happy. It might be a sad movie and you'll be like, oh, that feeling, but you like that feeling. Whatever that feeling is inside, whatever it is, that feeling, that's what happiness is. It's not like, this drink makes me happy. It's, being alive today makes me happy. Like, oh, I got out of bed. I actually did my hair today and I feel happy. I got that feeling inside of me. So it's like a feeling. I feel like it's a feeling.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being here today too. I understand it's not always easy to just speak about yourself or your life, and then have it available on the internet. So I do appreciate that, coming from you, and I admire what you've done. I admire what you're doing. You're doing you. You're raising a great child. You're building your life with your husband. And then now you get to figure out also what's next, right? Because you mentioned it earlier. You mentioned how when you bought your house, you started feeling comfortable, so then you went for something, right? So whatever that's cooking, I look forward to continue watching you do all the things because it inspires me.
Yay.
It inspires me. Like when I was, when I saw your, I think I don't know if we were always connected on Instagram or if we connected at some point, but when I was watching what you were doing, I was like, wow. I mean, I wasn't really surprised, but I was like, wow, like she actually like did it, she's
Yeah.
doing
I
it.
think
Like,
that's what everybody's thing was like, you actually did it? I'm like, yeah, I know, right? Like,
yeah, and like going, because it's something like, say I would have met you last year or 2 years ago, and it's like, okay, well, that's Yesenia, but yeah, knowing you from over a decade ago, what, like 14, more than 14 years since junior high, so
yeah,
like whatever that is, like what is it, 17 years
something
or
like that.
so?
Yeah, I'm old.
We're
Yeah.
old.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Older people are
yeah,
probably saying,
I know.
but yeah, I've known you for a long time. We were kids together, until you had to become an adult a lot
Yeah.
sooner than a lot of us.
Did you go to prom?
No.
Oh, okay. I went the year I was supposed to
Mm.
because his father was still at that time. And I was like, I don't remember seeing you.
Yeah,
You're right.
no. My ex, it wasn't really my ex's thing at the time,
Wow.
and he was very shy, and
You didn't miss
and
anything.
I wasn't allowed to go by myself,
Oh, you didn't miss anything. It
or
wasn't that fun.
especially with somebody else.
I'm like, it wasn't that fun. Prom, they make it seem like it's supposed to be this amazing thing. I'm like, it wasn't even that fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I didn't get that experience, which sounds like I didn't miss out from much,
You
but
didn't.
I'm probably, it probably would have brought more trouble for me at home, but so that's why I didn't go. But yeah, no, I mean, you've came such a long way, seriously, and I hope we can stay connected more, not just on social media, but outside of that. being working out, we have that in common, playing sports and just doing physical activity stuff that, sometimes it's not like, speaking with as far as females go, there's not an overflowing amount that I've experienced of, females into like seriously working out, not just
Oh, okay,
going
yeah.
to,
Yeah.
like serious about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm picky about who I work out with because I'm like, I'll work out with you. But then if I feel like I don't want to go to the gym, and my husband can agree, we don't go to the gym just to sit there and talk. And I see people just like hogging up machines just to talk. And I'm like,
Right.
no, we can't do this if we go to the gym. We got to like get it done. Go. Go to the
Yes.
gym, get it done.
Yes, for sure. So, I thank you again for being here. I really do appreciate
I
it.
appreciate being on here.
All right. All right, everybody. See you next time. Hope you enjoy the show.